Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and it's quite rare for me to talk about anime here on my channel. I mean, I do it occasionally, but not as frequently as I do with J-dramas. But for this one, I just have a lot of feelings about it, so I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and make a video. I'm talking about Oshi No Ko. Now, this one I saw on Netflix. I wanted to watch it because I thought that the illustration was really, really cute. And I've seen some people tweet about it, but I didn't really read them. Like, I have this ability to really dodge spoilers if I want to. And I usually, like, no matter how many people bombard me with information about a certain something, if I choose not to pay attention up until the point that I'm ready to pay attention, I wouldn't really absorb all that information. It's really helpful when you're into dramas but don't want to be like spoiled a lot when it comes to like the narrative, and it's a skill that for some reason I just have. And for this one, I know that a lot of people are talking about it, but I was just able to like dodge anything about it completely until my brother talked to me about it and told me that, you know, he was also interested about it because of its theme. And obviously, like, I'm an idol fan, so like the title itself, it's very intriguing to me. Oshi No Ko, like my idol's children. I don't know, like it's just like something that was interesting to me up until I knew what it was about, and I didn't expect it to be as heavy as it is. I actually have some notes here just so I wouldn't miss out on anything, but I found out that this was written by Akasaka Aka, best known for also creating Kaguya-sama Love is War. Absolutely love that. I have Shirogane right here. I have a Kaguya-sama pillow on my bed, which is frequently seen here on my videos. And for the live action adaptation of it, obviously I've seen it because it stars Hashimoto Kana and Hirano Sho, who I absolutely adore. And so I was really, really interested to see, you know, what this is gonna be about, simply because, you know, Kaguya-sama, it's also very nice, funny, but at the same time it also covers some very serious themes to some extent, like to some of its arcs. I've talked about this before. I absolutely love the Ishigami arc, or Ishigami's backstory when it comes to Kaguya-sama. And apparently this was also illustrated by Yokoyari Mengo, who also is most known for Scum's Wish. Scum's Wish, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of just because of the narrative, but I absolutely love the illustrations for that work as well. So putting it out there. Now the main premise of this this anime is it's about this gynecologist called Amemiya Goro, and he's very much into this 16-year-old female idol, because one of his patients who passed away because of a young patient, Serena, she was very, very sickly, and they know each other, and because of Serena's fascination with Ai, it eventually trickled down to him being interested in her as well. But then one day he encounters her in the hospital, in the countryside hospital that he's a resident in, and they discover that, you know, that she's pregnant with twins. She learns from like the CEO of her agency, as well as from Ai, that they want to keep it under wraps so that she would deliver the kids safely and she can still continue being an idol. Apart from her usual personality as an idol, Goro got to know more about Ai and who she is as an actual person. You know, she definitely has a lot of like depth to her as well, when it comes to her approach in things. But then when she was about to, you know, deliver, Goro gets by this mysterious character, and he gets reborn as one of Ai's twins. His other twin is later revealed to be Serena, her Goro's former patient, who's a huge fan of Ai, but neither of them know that because they kind of like refuse talking about, you know, who they actually are in their past lives. It's just that both of them, you know, are fans of their now mother. The Ai's they got to like learn more about Ai's life outside of being an idol because now they're her children, and they kind of like, it's fascinating because they remember their past life. So even if they're babies growing up to toddlers, like they have a lot more of like an advanced, you know, mental and emotional capacity for things, and it led them to, you know, discover the difficulties of being a chica idol or an idol in the industry. But it doesn't just cover that, it also discussed a lot of like heavy things about just the entertainment industry in general, where these personalities, you know, they're some of the most hardworking people ever, but people might think that they're raking in all these money because of merchandise, because of concerts, because of their fan base or anything like that. But that's not the reality of it at all. There's also a lot of like image building that goes around who they are. And because of certain expectations of people, like they're also at the receiving end of a lot of like hate, of a lot of speculation. And in Ai's case, you know, it's like people don't really know the real her. What's interesting about this is like they were able to keep her secret under like they were able to keep her secret because the CEO of her agency and the wife of the agency CEO, they placed the kids under their care, saying that they're their children instead of Ai's, so that since the wife of the CEO sort of like acts as Ai's manager, she was able to take them through, you know, shoots and stuff. So they were able to like watch their mom do her thing while Ai was there, you know. It's very loving. And the thing with this is that they're very understanding of the situation simply because, you know, they have the mental and emotional ability of a lot more, like a lot older than they actually are, because they remember their past lives. And so they were able to understand why Ai's secret had to be like that. They never at one point that they think that, you know, they're being kept as a dirty secret for Ai. They understand that side of her because of the situation of them remembering their past lives and everything. But because of an unfortunate incident, this is devastating to me because they explained the extent of holding a concert at Tokyo Dome for these idols, and I was already almost at that part of her career where she was booming. She was appearing in variety shows, she was having all these different jobs, and then because of an incident that happens, she gets by a fan who knows about her secret. It was the same person who also, Goro, back when he was still a doctor, there was this one point where he was looking up like what happened to his old self, like if he was discovered, and he still reported as missing, like his body wasn't reported. And so, you know, there's also that to think about. And then, you know, that happens, and it's sad because they also talk about how it was a thing that was in the news for at least 3 days, and then people completely forgot about it already. Like what happened to Ai just became another news piece, and then people eventually forgot about it. Her idol group Bikomachi disbanded after 2 months because she was the center, and you know, they weren't doing as well without her. The company, the agency that she was in, that was their only idol group. So right now they're just doing so after a couple of years. Goro and Serena, who are now named Aqua and Ruby, Aquamarine and Ruby, as the twins of Ai, have been adopted had been adopted by, you know, the manager and the CEO, but the CEO disappeared on them completely, and now, you know, it was just like the manager acting as their mom, who was just really, really nice because she really, really loves and cares for them like they're her actual children. But because of the circumstances, Ruby grew up to be, you know, this teenager who wants to follow the footsteps of her mother, whereas for Aqua, he kind of like thought about all these things and factored in that probably their father is also working in the entertainment industry, and he might have something to do with what happened to Ai. So he got so fixated on that, and he has his eyes set on revenge. That's basically just the plot of the narrative. I'm not sure if I explained that clearly, but then just the main idea of it is there's an idol, these two fans of hers die, and then kind of like gets reincarnated to be her twins, which she keeps a secret because she wants to continue being an idol. It was never revealed that that was a secret, but there was this particular fan who kind of knew that she got pregnant, and then eventually also, you know, was the one who offed her. And because of that, like no one knew that she had children. You know, that secret part of her was never revealed, but it still ended in a really horrific way. And the other thing that this anime also addresses is how people tend to commoditize idols in a way that there's a sense of ownership over them, over their, like, if they get into relationships or if they do anything remotely human. And it's very, very interesting to see that it's not just in J-pop or anything, even with celebrities, mostly even in the K industry. This is a very real thing happening, whereas celebrities or idols have to apologize when they get into a relationship or they get married to their fans. Like, why? And as an idol fan, like, I understand this sense of, you know, your attachment to someone in a very parasocial kind of relationship with someone, but then at the same time still has to be that understanding that this person isn't someone that you really own, and they don't exactly owe their career to you, because just like any other thing, you know, they're just doing a job, and that job isn't any different from if you're doing your job, right? And just because you're doing your job doesn't mean that their company owns you. It's basically the same thing with these idols. It's just that because of this parasocial nature of their jobs, people forget that and tend to commoditize them. And it's very glaring that this is one of the biggest themes of this drama, because of this anime, because I keep saying drama because I'm so used to talking about dramas here on my channel. I'm so sorry. But this is one of like the biggest themes of this particular anime. Quick insert as I'm editing this because I think I forgot to talk about it. But another thing that I like about this is it also addresses this kind of like idea with idols, where I is saying that, you know, she thinks that her lies is also a form of love that she expresses to her audience. And I do think that there also is some weight to it, because I think a lot of people often forget that as much as these people are, you know, the main idea of them is to charm you, is to tell you that they love you and all these things. At the end of the day, it's still a job, and sometimes people forget that. And I think Oshi No Ko also highlights that it's also a job for some people. And yes, just because what they're saying, like, it might not be 100% genuine, but the intention of them and the purpose of their job, and them knowing the purpose of their job, that also counts as genuine. It's not something that you should take everything that your idol is saying to you at face value, but also at the same time, it also comes with the intention as to what the job entails. And it doesn't necessarily make them ingenuine. It's just that, again, at the end of the day, there are some things that you do for your job, and you know that you came into this path and you chose this path in this industry knowing the effect that you have on people. And I guess that intention itself should also be considered in a way by fans, by people, especially when thinking about like these idols as, you know, as someone beyond being human. So I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but it's also one of the biggest points that this anime has made that I think has been effectively communicated through the character of Ai, and that's why I also really, really love it. So yeah. What made this really effective is they made the pilot into a full-length feature. So the full-length feature is now on Netflix. It's, I think, over an hour. And I like that they did that for the pilot to really hook you into the story, because otherwise if you watch it part by part, it wouldn't have the same impact that it did. Because yeah, like after that it jumped off into like the second episode, which is a normal length 20-minute episode that really immersed us into the current life of Ruby and Aqua as Ice twins, and what they're currently doing now. Like Ruby trying to pursue being an idol, Aqua is trying as much as possible to prevent that, and also to seek out revenge for what happened to their mom. I really like it because it offers that kind of like that sense of depth when it comes to like the entertainment industry, as well as again this ownership that people think they have over celebrities, over idols, over all of these things, and also some of the dark like behind the scenes things that happens in the industry. Like there was this one part where Bikomachi was performing, and then the staff were like, who are they? There's this one girl with big boobs, maybe she should do, you know, gravure modeling and stuff like that. So it's like they're already putting in, they're already like placing these people in boxes like their products, because that's what their career is trying to place them as, forgetting that they're also people who have lives outside of what they're trying to present to their audience. And yeah, it's just a very interesting thing. And again, this is one of those animes where, you know, if people think that, if there are still some people who think that anime is just for kids, this is one of those anime that prove it's not, because again, depth in terms of the themes, anything. I really like the illustration for this one as well. And again, as I mentioned, the illustrator for this is same with Scum's Wish. So yeah, but I like they also describe how I is this, you know, is someone who just, and I think there are really people like that in the entertainment industry. Like they're meant to be on stage because of how good they are, and sometimes it's not just their talent or their skill, there's just something about them that captivates any type of audience. And that's what they were saying with you know, and I don't know, like I feel, I'm not sure if it's because I'm also an idol fan. I'm kind of like into this culture on the standpoint of being a fan, and so I understand that kind of like draw that the anime was trying to explain when it comes to when it comes to like the relationship, and why Goro and Serena also felt the same way when they were, you know, watching on screen and learning about as a person outside of her idol persona. Like there's just so many layers to this anime, and I do feel like I understand the hype surrounding it, and that's the reason why, you know, I chose to like talk about it, because I'm looking forward to how the story would go. Another thing is, I read that apparently this canonically exists in the same universe as Kaguya-sama, again because of the same mangaka. Apparently Kaguya makes a cameo in the most recent chapter, so it makes me want to think if I want to read the manga or I just want to like stick to watching the series, and whether or not they're going to include that. But yeah, so with that said, I don't know, as usual here, it's not really more of like a review or anything like that. It's just a talk through of what I'm enjoying about this anime so far. Tell me down in the comments below, do you have any other animes, especially if it's on Netflix, that you're interested in, that you can probably recommend to me. If you haven't seen this one yet, I highly suggest that you do. It's currently on Netflix with episode 1 and 2, and I think the next episode will be on the 26th. So new episodes every Wednesday, I guess, or Thursday, depending on where you are. But yeah, so as usual, everything, comments, let's talk it out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one. Bye.